No one wants to be at a place where they are not valued. If only if I'm valued in a room, I would like to be there. Otherwise, I would not like to be there. As a human, we only want three things in life, which is love, respect, and to be valued.
What advice would you like to give to such people who are often choosing familiar pain again and again over unfamiliar peace?
In unhealthy relationship, the person is always tense. The person is always thinking before talking, is always overreacting. So when leaving or changing comes to their mind, it's not like they're happy in the relationship, but they're scared to get out of the relationship. So they're okay to be in the same atmosphere, even though they feel stuck, their energy is getting lost.
जब कोई रिलेशनशिप टूटता है तो हम लोग अकेला फील बहुत करते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू हैव स्पेंड मोर देन 8 years विद दैट पर्सन एंड आप उसी जोन में हो कि अगर ये नहीं है तो मेरी लाइफ में तो कुछ था ही नहीं. एंड आई थिंक दिस इज द पॉइंट वेयर ईदर द पर्सन गोज इनटू फुल डिप्रेशन और दे एक्चुअली डू समथिंग दैट मेक्स देयर एंटायर लाइफ एज अ ब्रेक थ्रू एंड अ लिविंग एग्जाम्पल फॉर द पीपल आर गोइंग थ्रू द सेम थिंग्स. सो कैन यू let us know or help us to understand how do we sit with that loneliness after letting go without running back to the same person again?
The people always do what they want to do. They will not do what you want them to do. So we shouldn't try to control anyone by telling them do this, do that, don't do this. Speak for what you need and experience the freedom of truly being yourself. Close the window that hurts you, no matter how beautiful the view is.
Welcome everyone to yet another episode of the Gargi Arya Show, a show to help you live and design a life and a business that you can be proud of. And today we are back with another inspiring guest with us. Her name is Miss Chanchal Surekha. She's an amazing soul. Trust me, the podcast today that we are going to, tell you more about, we are going to talk more about on the topic of relationships. Her name is Miss Chanchal Surekha. Her journey from stuck to strong starts here. She's a relationship and a life coach. She's helping people to heal and transform, not just in their life but also in their relationships. And I feel today this topic is so much wide and so much complicated that so many people out there are not actually getting to the core of what healthy relationship actually looks like. So if you are someone who is struggling with your relationship, not just with others but also with yourself, trust me, this 1 hour is going to be like super insightful and super inspiring for you. So without any further ado, let's welcome our guest Chanchal ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here and thank you so much for giving me that opportunity to host you.
Thank you, Gargi. Thank you for creating this space and for inviting me. I truly appreciate your intentions behind this podcast and I'm honored. It's lovely to see you doing this at such a young age. Really, kudos to you on that.
Thank you so much. So the first thing which I want to understand from you, and I think हर किसी के मन में ये question होगा कि why are you helping people on the topic of relationships? Like हर एक की life में एक story होती है from which we get inspired and do such things. So what was that story or triggering point in your life that led you to become a relationship coach?
To be honest, Gargi, I feel in everyone's life there is a time which comes where you go through ups and downs in your life and you don't know where to go next, what to do next. So I've been married for 15 years. Of course, there was a time in my life also where I didn't know where this is heading. I used to wake up every single morning with no agenda in my life, doing the basic household chores. That's where there was a lot of up and down and I decided, no, I need to do something more big in life. So there was a phase where I was really broken and I went for counseling myself. When I went for this counseling and I healed through it is when I decided I can really help a lot of people. You know, whatever the person told me was not new to me. But when it comes from someone who's professional, that little nudge makes a lot of difference. There where an entire shift happened and today I've become a relationship coach where I'm helping n number of people to design their life and to understand what they really need to do next.
Great, thank you so much for sharing this. So I feel, like one of my mentors, Mr. Blair Singer, always says, कि जब भी we overcome something in our life, it becomes a responsibility to help other people suffering from the same. And I could
Totally.
connect with you कि relationship is such a topic जहाँ पर, sometimes or the other, it's like our quality of life depends on the quality of the relationships that we have. So thank you so much for doing what you do. So the next thing which I want to understand from you is, like when someone says I love them, कभी कभी आप किसी से बहुत प्यार करते हैं and we say that I love you, but maybe the other partner does not feel seen, does not feel heard, does not feel कि वो actually मुझसे प्यार करते भी है या नहीं, and it's all just on the surface level. So what exactly is happening beneath the surface emotionally and physically?
This is a very beautiful question, Gargi. Really, there are a lot of people who come to me and they say this. I love them, but I don't feel safe anymore. मैंने ये काफी टाइम सुना है मेरे करियर में. So what happens here is the love is there, but something important is missing. They feel emotionally left aside. What does feeling seen mean in a relationship? Feeling seen means you understand the person. You're not confused. You notice me. But when we talk to someone, when we talk to our spouse, when we voice our words, they start empathizing. They start sympathizing rather than empathizing. In today, when we are talking to someone, let it be our in a relationship with someone or our spouse, we just want that person to hear us. We don't want any suggestions and opinions from them. जब तक ज्ञान देने की बात है, I think हर एक आदमी एक दूसरे को ज्ञान दे रहे हैं. But when you're talking to someone, you only want to be heard. But that gets confused and people start showing their sympathy. So this shouldn't happen in a relationship. You have to feel seen. And when feeling seen happening, the person starts feeling invisible. Like you are there, you're present, but you're not being valued. And no one wants to be at a place where they are not valued. Right? आज आप हो, मैं हूँ. If I'm valued in a room, I would like to be there. Otherwise, I would not like to be there. As a human, we only want three things in life, which is love, respect, and to be valued. Correct? And what does feeling safe mean in a relationship? Feeling safe means I can speak honestly without a fear of being judged, without being ignored, or without making to feel stupid for that reason. A lot of people, my husband is very good with technology. There would be someone who's very good with AI. There would be someone who's very good at marketing. But when you go to someone for help and you ask them, can you help me with this thing? There are two ways they can reciprocate by saying, Arey, tujhe itna bhi nahi aata. You don't know this much also. Or the person will say, smiles and tell you, come sit with me, I'll teach you. And if you feel I'm missing on something, you let me know. So that is the difference between making a person feel safe in a relationship. You don't need to be judged. You don't need to make the person feel ignored. You just have to give them some value and some respect. And when that safety is gone, we stop opening up. Not because we don't wish to, but inside we have a fear. Okay, again, I will talk and I'll be judged. Again, I'll be made to show that, oh, I'm so low. There is constantly a fear. Should I speak or should I just stay quiet? So this actually means I love you, but I do not feel comfortable or myself with you anymore, which would be there somewhere in the past. And that's a very painful place to be. We should always remember love doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly. It fades over a period of time. And we can always sense this, especially in women. I don't know from where, but we can always sense if someone is looking at you, which is not in a good way. You can sense it. If someone is touching you, which is not again in a good way, you can sense it. So we have some intuition, but we choose to avoid that. Why? Believing that the worst will never happen, or staying quiet is the only option to save the relationship. So I think this is what we need to take care of. Yes.
Right. So true. And like I could connect with your answer because I have been there with some friends, with some relationships where even though, it felt like the love is there, but I was not comfortable to share my feelings, my true self with them. So I think what you just shared, it's like one of the biggest pain points of relationships. So I just want to ask one question which is coming right now in my mind कि let's say if the person is going through such phase, sometimes the familiarity, like familiarity इतनी ज्यादा होती है कि even though the relationship gets toxic, उनके पास वो courage नहीं आता that they go ahead and end that relationship. So what advice would you like to give to such people who are often choosing familiar pain again and again over unfamiliar peace?
Wow, that's amazing again. People, they often want to be in a familiar pain rather than choosing the new peace. Why does this happen? Because somewhere they feel safer in that pain without realizing the real growth will only happen if they come out of that situation. They don't want to come out of that comfort zone. Somewhere they feel this pain is only my peace. At least they know how to take care, how to handle that situation. At times our body get used to certain pattern. Assume even if in childhood, some child is only seeing their parents fight, arguments, emotions up and downs, or is being a part of this for a very long time in their life. They feel this is how life is. This is how relationship is. Or maybe the child will also start to thinking this is how love language is, right? So somewhere I feel knowingly or unknowingly, we are always setting up standards for our kids. We are always shaping up our kids to make them understand how they have to treat their spouse when they get married. So it's very important to maintain a healthy relationship at home. There's a beautiful thing. There is a family of 3 people, to set an example. They were sitting, the parents were getting ready to go to work, and the child was having his breakfast, all 3 of them. Unfortunately, the wife happened to spill some coffee on husband's trouser. At this moment, the husband has a choice to react or to respond. So either the husband can say, "Oh my God, what are you doing? Can't you see I'm running late for a meeting?" And the child is observing. Or the husband can just smile and tell her, "It's okay, sweetheart. Allow me a moment. I'll change and I'll come back." In both the situations, you're setting examples for your child, knowingly, unknowingly. So we should always make sure we set the examples right. We should create an environment where the child feels that whatever my parents are doing is right. Because somewhere, knowingly or unknowingly, they're always learning from us. So even in a relationship, when it hurts, it still feels known, and unknowing feels scary. In unhealthy relationship, the person is always tense. The person is always thinking before talking, is always overreacting. So when leaving or changing comes to their mind, it's not like they're happy in the relationship, but they're scared to get out of the relationship. So they're okay to be in the same atmosphere, even though they feel stuck, their energy is getting lost. But they feel, at least I know how to deal with the situation. I know it hurts, but I know how to fix it, how to handle it. So it is okay to choose, it is not okay to choose a familiar pain. They're just getting used to this pattern without realizing once they break this loop is when they will actually see themselves. And our nervous system plays a very important role in this by making us feel comfortable in that pain. Rather expecting something different, by assuming and presuming कि जो होता है अच्छे के लिए होता है, 4 लोग क्या कहेंगे. So we try to convince ourselves by saying or by looking at people who are lower than us. At least we have a house to live in. At least our financial status is good. At least we are getting food 4 times. There are people who are on the road and they don't know how to survive. So we start looking at people who are lower than us, and we actually set our standards low. इतने में ही खुश रहना है. So the nervous system main job is always to make us feel whatever you have, be content in that. So that is the loop where people actually get stuck and they feel it's okay to be where we are.
So true. Like हम लोग maybe you know what I could understand from your answer is कि हम लोग इतना ज्यादा उस pain में घुस जाते हैं and we start treating it like our home, right? So we treat pain as our home and हमें कुछ better option भी दिखते हैं ना बाहर, we just feel कि वहां नहीं जाना, यहाँ ज्यादा comfortable feel
Correct,
हो रहा है.
correct. Because you're
Yes.
comfortable, you have
हाँ.
not seen only beyond this
Hmm.
comfort is the real growth.
Exactly. So
People
true.
don't want to get out of their comfort
Hmm.
zone.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing this point.
Thank you, Sagiji.
Yes. So now my next thing which I want to understand is, you know, letting go is a very emotional topic. क्योंकि हम किसी से प्यार करते हैं and when we are letting go of that pain, of that relationship, do we like, are we afraid of losing the person? Are we afraid of the future that we imagine? Let's say, for example, there are people who have spent 7 to 8 years in a relationship and उनकी ऑर्बिट हमेशा उसी इंसान के अराउंड घूमती थी,
Correct,
you know,
correct,
ये
correct.
है तो सब कुछ है, ये नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है पूरी लाइफ में.
बिल्कुल,
So
बिल्कुल.
what are we actually grieving about when we are letting go of a relationship? The person, the future we imagine, or is it the version of us that we used to feel safe with?
Wow, beautiful. Such a nice question, Gagi. I'm really loving the set of questions you've got today. You know,
Yes, thank you so much.
so Gargi ji, क्या होता है ना? See, when a relationship ends, we think we are just missing that person. But honestly, a person is only a small part of it. What we actually miss is a lot of things which is attached to that person. You know, we are also grieving the future we plan with that person, the number of trips, holidays, festivals, and maybe everyday moments which we thought would definitely happen. Letting go hurts because we are saying goodbye to a life what we had imagined would be certain. And that there's another layer to this which people do not talk about. We are also grieving about who we were in the process when we were with that person. The version of us that laughed a little more, that used to be a little cool, you know, that used to be a little honest, used to talk without fear, without being judged. That person who used to always be quiet at times just to maintain that peace. So when a relationship ends, the version of us ends too. So if you're wondering, why is it difficult? Why is this? Because grief doesn't mean the person is perfect. It means the relationship mattered to you. The more you grab onto something, you lose that person. The more you try to control on something, you lose that thing. You know, it is very important to understand one thing in life. You leave a relationship with beauty rather letting it be bitterful for you. Don't let it reach that stage where it becomes bitter and you don't even like to look at each other's face. We feel, we have feelings. But let me tell you something, Gargiji. Feelings are the most temporary thing in this world. You know, every morning we only get up with different kind of feelings. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are sad. And लोग feelings के सारे अपनी पूरी जिंदगी निकाल देते हैं. Thinking कि यार 10 years back this person had told me कि I am his life. So now, but that is what that person had spoken then. But today the person can feel differently. It is okay. It is okay to let go a person. You know, it becomes so difficult for people to let go a person in a relationship. I would like to explain you with this with a very simple example. You know, assume someone is traveling from Bombay to Calcutta by train. Does this mean everyone who's getting it at Bombay will get off at Calcutta? No. Correct. So in relationship, it is very important to understand a person will travel with us as long as their journey is destined to be with us. We cannot force anyone to be with us a little longer just because we like their company, just because we love the attention we are getting from them. So we cannot force, even if I beg someone for time, or if I plead someone to spend some more time with me, they will do that. But it will always be an obligation. It will not be out of their happiness. It will just be because I'm forcing them to do that. So we should never do that. If someone wants to go, just let them go. It's okay. It's not that difficult. We have to understand a person only travels with us as long as their journey is destined to be with us. Especially in today's world where both the couples, husband or wife, both of them are independent. There is going to be a new version of marriage. And I would love to share this, what it's going to look like in the future when we design our life. Where the wife is going to say, darling, I'm not here for the economics you provide me. I'm not here to take care of your children. I'm not here for the luxury you give me. I'm not here for the status you give me. I'm here truly because I love you. And what kind of a different feeling it is when someone is with you only for that love. Soon, marriage is not going to be a need. It's going to be a want. If you want to get married, you get married. If you need to get married, there's nothing like a need. You wish to get married, you get married. That's what marriage is going to look like in the coming years. There's a very beautiful joke, Gargi, which I heard on marriage. It has to do nothing with this. If you allow, I'll go ahead.
Yes, please, we want to hear it.
So if you don't love your spouse, your neighbor will. If you don't take care of your employee, your competitor will.
Yes.
In marriage, we always want that our partner should be ours first. And we should be the first person who's there in their life. But that's not the case. In business, we always want experienced people. What do we get? Freshers. And in marriage, we want, and what do we get? So this is where life is heading now. This is how the new generation is going to be. And we should accept it. Like during my mom's time or during maybe 20 years back also, there was a thing where if you're loyal to a person, you have to be loyal to one person at a time for a lifetime. You have to be loyal to one person for your lifetime. That was loyalty. Today, if you're loyal to one person at a time, it's loyalty. That is where it has become. One person at a time today is considered to be loyal. So this is what we need to understand, how to grow and not to be stuck in a situation.
You are talking so true about relationships, and I think you are one of the best coaches I have met in terms of relationships.
To say this.
Yes, because मतलब ये जो भी आप बता रहे हो ना ये बहुत ज़्यादा connecting है, and I feel this is what people actually go through, and this is one conversation that very few people actually talk about. So I'm really happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Really honored.
Amazing. So now, like I also want to understand about the guilt part that comes. जैसे हम किसी को जब छोड़ते हैं ना, हम लोग उससे उसकी केयर ज्यादा करते हैं कि वो रह लेगा या रह लेगी, rather than we caring about us, even if it feels scary, even if it feels that it's going to break us. So why do you think guilt arises whenever we are choosing us in a relationship over our partners or over anyone else? And how is this guilt connected to conditioning, people pleasing, या फिर ये जो fears आते हैं rejection के, judgment के? Yes.
Wow, amazing. So क्या होता है ना गार्गी जी, guilt often shows up the moment we choose ourselves. जैसे ही आप खुद के बारे में सोचोगे आपको गिल्टी लगने लग जाएगा. I don't know why, but from childhood we've been conditioned in that way to believe that putting ourselves first means you're selfish. You're being selfish. Especially in our country, in India, most of the women have spent their entire lives, or most of their life, playing a role. There'd be a role of a mother, a sister, a daughter, or a daughter-in-law for that matter. And while they're playing all these different kind of roles, they actually forget what they want from their life. Their entire life is only about playing roles. So they've never thought about themselves. From a very young age, we've been taught to be good to others. And how? By adjusting, by not talking too much, by maintaining peace at home, by not disappointing others. And the moment you overlook that and you start thinking about that, about yourself, you've been made to feel guilty, right? This is what happens with most of us. So we've learned that if you want love, you have to sacrifice. You have to compromise. That's where people pleasing come in. You know, who are people pleasers? People pleasers are the people who say yes to others, but they say no to themselves. If you don't prioritize yourself, if you don't give importance to yourself, how do you expect someone else will? They give so much in the process and they don't even realize how hollow they've become in the process. And there are two kind of people in this world. Assume you are a jug person and I'm a cup person. Okay, and you're a very kind-hearted person. So whenever you're very kind to people, people will often take you for granted. So assume I'm holding a cup in my hand and you have a jug. When you're pouring in my cup and I'm giving you very little in return. But because you're a people pleaser, you start keep putting in my jug, in my cup without realizing I do not have the capacity to take beyond this cup size. And when you still keep pouring on that cup, it is overflowing. And when it is overflowing, it's falling, it's slipping on my clothes. And I am getting angry, I am getting frustrated, I am getting annoyed with you. Because you're overgiving and I can't even manage that much. So don't put yourself in a condition, don't stop pleasing people and always put yourself first. We cannot drink the poison and expect someone else to die. That will not happen. If you're giving away, you are the only one who's gonna suffer. Voice for yourself, express that emotion of yours. We don't need validation from anyone. And Gargiji, when we finally say no, we set boundaries, we choose our peace. But this is when the old programming gets activated in our head. When the mind says, if I'll not do this for them, they will not love me anymore. They'll not take care of me. They'll not ask me for stuff. I'll lose everything I have. So guilt is not a sign. It's a deeper fear. What if I'm rejected for being who I am? But what the actual truth is, people who feel comfortable only when you abandon yourself were not the people who actually love you also in the first place. Learning to choose yourself isn't about becoming selfish. It's about becoming honest. And with honesty always comes healthier relationships. So you should
Amazing.
never please people. Just do what you like and like what you do.
And I think when you're actually very honest with yourself, you can be honest with other people, and it's not just about honesty. आप फिर अपनी लाइफ बहुत aligned way में live करने लगते हो.
Totally. When you are giving so much, and you're not getting anything in return, it's like if you're squeezing an orange juice, you cannot expect mango juice to come out of it. Orange में से
Amazing. So that was such an amazing answer that you gave. Thank you so much for all the golden nuggets you are sharing. And the next thing which I want to talk about is on boundary setting. Like how do you think unspoken boundaries slowly turn into resentment, and why does this resentment often show up before clarity?
beautiful. So you know what, Gargi? I feel in life there are 3 C's which play a very important role. And those 3 C's are courage, clarity, and consistency. And all 3 show up before resentment. Firstly, you need courage. You need courage to set boundaries with your partner. Secondly, you need to have clarity. Clarity is the foundation of everything. What you actually want. And the third is consistency. Showing up for whatever you've decided with your partner and standing by it, not to alter it, not to compromise because things are not falling the way you want, right? But from my experience, I've noticed most of the people know what they want in their head. But when it comes to saying out loud or to implement the same, they struggle. They don't have the courage to go ahead with this. Why most of the people struggle? Because I feel people don't know how to communicate. Communication is the main key in any relationship. Let it be a relation with your spouse, with your parent, with your child, with your friends. I feel in any relationship, communication is the key. But nowadays, we stop communicating. We are living our life more in assumptions and presumptions. We think if we say something, the person will feel bad. So rather than speaking, we just stay quiet. And we are not setting any kind of boundaries, because if we feel we set boundaries, the person will get hurt. We are in a constant fear of conflict. So okay, let's not talk, because if we'll talk about something, there's going to be a conflict, there's going to be a fight. So let's not communicate. Fear of being misunderstood. If I try to put in my words, it will be like you do not understand anything. So people always have that fear also. Fear of losing the person in a relationship. I feel it is better to speak and lose the relationship rather than losing yourself and staying in the relationship, right? So instead of speaking, people start staying silent. They adjust. They feel the person will understand. In today's world, where people don't understand spoken words, how do we expect someone will understand unspoken words? Those were the times aankhon hi aankhon mein baat ho gayi and all of that. Now, people can look into your eye, have a very nice eye contact and lie on your face. अभी आंखों ही आंखों में बातें नहीं होती है. We have to realize those were the days and those were the generation which is gone. And all those things have gone with them. It doesn't last anymore. But when we stay quiet, we need to understand silence does not protect a relationship. It only weakens the relationship. When we don't communicate our needs, resentment starts to doing the talking. Real communication comes when we talk what is there in our mind, when we are honest with ourselves. That is what the real communication is. Let it be the uncomfortable ones. But it is very important that we communicate. We need little courage when we communicate. That will not cost our peace. There will only be some kind of clarity when we communicate and show a little more courage. It's very important to express your emotion. Nowadays, people don't express their emotions. They suppress their emotions. And when we suppress our emotions, our energy gets stuck. We start feeling heavy, we start feeling tired, we start feeling exhausted and irritated. It's very important to express your emotions. When we speak what we want, we feel light, we feel calmer, we feel more of ourselves, and we are more clear in what we say. So we should always give our emotions a voice and be clear. And as far as setting boundaries is concerned, we do not set boundaries because we feel if we will set boundaries, the other person will get hurt. So we don't even know how to set boundaries or how to set non-negotiables for that matter. Deep down, we are scared that if we set boundaries, they will not love us anymore. But let me tell you, Gargi ji, we do not set boundaries for others. We set boundaries for ourselves. If today I have decided I don't want to be in touch with someone or I don't want to be in touch with my ex, it is not my responsibility to go and tell that person, I'm not going to talk to you. My responsibility is just not to encourage, not to engage, and not to reply to that person. Choosing peace is also our decision. We have to decide. When we set boundaries, we explain our person what we like, what is that thing will not hurt us. We explain them what is not to be done. What I'm expecting from a relationship. So boundaries are set to make the relationship healthy. and not unhealthy. Choosing peace is also our call. Sometimes courage may sound like, I just don't feel like talking about this topic, or I'm not comfortable, or maybe not now, or just walk away from a relationship. That is what courage means. We have to show courage to grow in a relationship. People always do what they want to do. They will not do what you want them to do. So we shouldn't try to control anyone by telling them, do this, do that, don't do this. So end the struggle. Speak for what you need and experience the freedom of truly being yourself. That is what will happen when you set boundaries right.
Amazing points, because I think boundary setting, this is one thing I've learned specifically from Pooja ma'am, our mentor. Like she says ki boundaries, it's not about अगर boundary होती है तो प्यार नहीं है, जहाँ पर प्यार है वहाँ पर boundary होना बहुत
Exactly.
जरूरी
It is
होता है.
just about giving that
Hmm.
space and to respect
Hmm.
what your spouse or your partner or your
Hmm.
loved ones are saying. If
Hmm.
something is hurting me and if I'm making it clear, if you do this, it
Hmm.
hurts me. Now it
Yes.
is your choice whether you want to follow it or you don't want to
Hmm.
follow it. But it doesn't mean if I've set boundaries, I have the control over you. I don't need to control. It is just making communication clear.
Hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank you, dear.
sharing this and talking about it. So, now the next thing is a very important point. जब भी आप किसी एक ऐसे relationship से जा रहे हो जहाँ पर there was a lot of love, there was a lot of thing, but the courage was just to walk away from that relationship. So, how do we rebuild that self trust in us after ignoring our own needs? Like हम लोग उनके साथ थे relationship में, लेकिन हम हमेशा कॉम्प्रोमाइज, जो भी आपने बोला, कॉम्प्रोमाइज करते थे, एडजस्ट करते थे, मे बी इन होप दैट दिस पर्सन विल चेंज. बट अब वो जब नहीं हुआ, जब सब कुछ खत्म हो गया, नाउ वी आर इन द फेज ऑफ रीबिल्डिंग आवर ओन सेल्फ ट्रस्ट. सो हाउ डू वी एक्चुअली कोप अप विद इट?
I think this is one of the best questions you've asked me so far.
Right.
Because rebuilding your self trust, I mean, there are so many people who come to me. I had gone as a speaker in one of the companies for relationship, and there's one lady who stood up. So, a lot of people today go through infidelity in relationship because it has become so easy to cheat on your partner. You can chat, you can delete, you can call, you can delete, you can meet, you can hide. There are so many privacy factors which you've given, which you can use the way you want, let it be in a good way or in a bad way. So, the people rebuilding self trust after ignoring your own needs is one of the hardest thing a person can do. Either a person lacks self trust or the person is made to feel that. In both the situation, it is really tough to deal with it. Because when you've been told time and again that you're wrong, you're not doing it right, you don't know how to manage things, you're not enough, you have no idea about anything. After a period of time, your inner voice stops and you start believing that you're not good enough, that you are at fault. I remember a lady who walked up to me as a couple, but she'd come single, of course. She said something very painful. I don't trust myself anymore. What do I do? It is such a painful situation to be there. Not because she didn't have the inner wisdom, but because she was forced to doubt it. For years, she ignored her own feelings, her emotions, her lifestyle, mentally, physically. She ignored all of it because every time she spoke, she was made to feel small. She was said, you're overreacting to situations. You're overthinking about everything. That she was the problem. Nothing she did was ever enough in the family. She was quite broken. Slowly, this constant blaming did something really deep in her. She started believing she was the culprit. She started believing if the marriage will not last, it's because of her. She started believing whatever she was doing was never enough and she never had the right to ask for anything. This is how self-trust breaks. Not in a moment, not in a spur, but over a period of time. When you're meant to say, when you're listening again and again the same things, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve this. That is when your self-trust breaks. And you know what, Gargiji? When she was coming to me, every time she also told me the same thing. One thing, Chanchal, I don't think इतनी गलतियां मेरे में है जितनी मुझे बताई जा रही है. I somewhere also feel something is fishy. And as I told couple of minutes back, we women, we always have that intuition. We can always sense something is wrong. Something is fishy. And she used to keep telling me that thing. So we walked on that phase as well. And soon she realized that her husband was cheating on her. That was an eye opener for her. Not because she was hurt, but because the fog that she created in her head, the fog was cleared. That one day, everything shifted. She discovered she was never the cause. She was not the one to be blamed. And even when the physical needs were not being met, she was blamed for that. That eye-opener changed her entire perspective. That yes, I am not the one to be blamed. It was a major eye-opening for her. Her husband used to put everything on her. It was a total blame game. Everything. For whatever is to be done, she was to be blamed. Not because it didn't hurt. That was the moment where everything cleared in her head. She realized. And then, of course, the husband asked for one chance. He said, let's give it one try. I'll try to settle things, That one moment was when her journey came back to self-trust. It began from there, where she started telling herself, it's not my fault. My feelings are genuine. My feelings are valid. And I'm allowed to want more. But I've seen, Gargiji, whenever in a relationship, one person is forgiving the other person, the person is expected to forget everything and start going out the next day. Her husband wanted to start being normal the next day itself just because she's forgiven him. This is where the problem arises. She has forgiven him, but she's not forgotten what happened. It is easy to forgive a person, but you cannot forget it. It's going to be in your head for the rest of your life. There was a wound which has healed, but the scar will always be there. You cannot expect the person to come out with you for a movie, for a walk, and keep sitting next to you and talk for hours. You should allow your partner to come out of that situation and respect the time what she or he is asking for. Let it be days, months, or even years. You should respect that thing. Whenever you are in a relationship and you're not sure about it, whether you want to stay, you should give it a window of 90 days. Either you go all in or you go all out. There is nothing like a mid situation in this, right? Either you go all in or you go all out. You cannot stay in a relationship half-heartedly. Because when you do something half-heartedly, you're not doing justice to it. You'll not heal, neither you will grow. You'll only create further confusion. And the confusion will never keep you happy. Because self-trust is not about becoming loud or becoming rigid. It's about coming back home to yourself without abandoning yourself and your true feelings. So you should never abandon yourself in a relationship. This is how self-trust will come back to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being so raw. Especially the line that you said, you can forgive someone, but you can never forget how they made you feel or
It's very
whatever
important.
happened.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
So true. Because I think ये आपने again एक बहुत बड़ा point एक relationships के लिए बोला है that you do something wrong to the other person and then both the other partner who has done the wrong expects you to get back to
Yes,
normal track.
in no time.
Yes.
Next day,
Yes.
you're not coming out with me.
Mm,
What happened? You've forgiven me.
mm,
I've forgiven you. Be
mm,
happy.
mm,
I've not forgotten. That is the difference. There's a very
mm,
beautiful quote which I had read, Gargi ji, and it
mm,
stayed with me. Close the window that hurts you,
mm.
no matter how beautiful the view is.
I'll take it as I could not settle it within me. Can you say that for the audience and me again?
Close the window that hurts you,
Mm,
no matter how beautiful the view is.
mm. So true. I think I'll
Stay
take
with
this
me.
as the biggest
I
learning.
goosebumps, when
Mm,
I talk about this or when I say this.
mm. Amazing. Like, I think we are learning a lot, and just to tell you, you are one of the best guests that I've ever had on my show. So, thank you so much. It's like
Thank
my
you so
honor to
much.
have you.
Thank you. It's so nice of you to say such kind words to me.
Awesome.
I really
So,
appreciate.
thank you so much. So, the next thing which I want to understand is again a very valid feeling. जब कोई relationship टूटता है तो हम लोग अकेला feel बहुत करते हैं because like let's say for example you have spent 3 4 5 7 more than 8 years with that person and
Correct,
आप
correct.
उसी zone में हो कि अगर ये नहीं है तो मेरी life में तो कुछ था ही नहीं, right? And I think this is the point where either the person goes into full depression or they actually do something that makes their entire life as a breakthrough and a living example for the people who are going through the same things. So can you let us know or help us to understand how do we sit with that loneliness after letting go without running back to the same person again, क्योंकि वो craving अंदर बहुत होती है कि नहीं मुझे वही चाहिए. Yes.
Totally, totally. Beautiful, Gagi. I think it is very important for people to understand how to let go and how to bounce back in your personal life. So loneliness can be one of the hardest emotion to sit with, especially when you're used to someone talking to you for 24/7. Now with this WhatsApp and constantly being on your phone, it is very easy to update your day-to-day activities minute by minute to everyone. And when you get used to such kind of a thing, when you're constantly, you have someone checking on you, someone who's asking you, did you eat? What are you doing? How was your day? Those questions, they become a part of your life. They become a daily rhythm for you. And then one day, it all stops. Suddenly, there is a silence. What most people don't realize is in the silence, you're not always missing the person, but you're missing the routine you've built around them. Just the way you said in the question. This is a routine which you formed for yourself. The habit of sharing, the habit of responding, the habit of feeling connected, even if the connection wasn't healthy. Loneliness begins when the routine disappears. The day starts feeling longer. There's no one to update me, or there's no one whom I should update. We start missing on those things. We start feeling uncomfortable. In that empty space starts feeling scary. This is the moment when our mind, our nervous system starts playing with us again. It plays a trick. Let's go back to the same person. At least you had someone to talk to, right? At least you were sharing your day-to-day routine with someone. You don't have anyone to talk to, not because the relationship was right, but at least it felt safe because it was familiar. At least there was a pattern. At least there was someone who was asking me, how am I? So in a process, I feel we are always, kind of selfish. We only like people who are like us or We like people who like us. So in both the situations, I feel somewhere we always get selfish to be with people who like us or whom we like. We don't want to compromise or be in a situation where we feel out of the room or where we need to adjust. We don't want to be there, right? So every person, when a person feels lonely, they feel like going back to the person because at least it is predictable, and predictable is better than feeling lonely. That's why people rush to go back in the old pattern. At least they know it will serve them. Healing from loneliness doesn't mean you have to run away from the situation. It's okay to sit by yourself. It's okay to allow it sometime. It doesn't mean brush off your emotions and just get up and start running. No, try to sink it in. Try to understand, observe it, and let it flush out of your system. That is how you should take care of loneliness. You have to heal from it. Healing means you be honest what you're feeling at the moment. Understand your emotions, accept your emotions, and eventually let go. That is what heal actually means. Let go. It's okay. It's okay to be by yourself. It's okay to spend time by yourself. It's okay not to be okay. You don't need to rush back to the person just to feel good. And it is a very easy way how to take care of loneliness. There was a certain pattern which you were following. Now, break that pattern, break that loop, and see where life is taking you. This is where the real growth will happen. If you like nature, just sit by nature, sip your coffee. If you like to walk, go for a morning walk. Have a new routine. If you like to play, I love to play badminton. Whenever I am low or I feel I don't have anything to do, I just rush to the court. That is my me time. Even if I'm happy, I'll be there. Even if I'm sad, I'll be there. So form a new routine. Try to break that pattern and see how you feel wonderful when you start growing. Don't rush back to the same old person who's giving you pain time and again. If someone is hurting you for the first time, it is their mistake. If someone is hurting you for the second time, it is their mistake. But if you're allowing someone to hurt you for the third time and again, it's your mistake, my darling. And please don't allow anyone to do that. Your peace is something that always counts. And always remember, it's okay to be alone. It's okay not to be okay. And it's okay to take your own time. It's a phase. It will pass by. It may take days, weeks, months, but it will go. Nothing in this life is temporary. Let it be good or bad. Life is always cyclical. Whatever goes will always come back to you. If it's meant to be, it's up to you. And this is Pooja ma'am's line. And you also know that thing very well. If it's meant to be, it's up to you. You have to decide how you want to design your life. You don't need any validations, approvals for anyone. It's your life. It's your rule. You have to grow. You have to rediscover yourself. Resilience is always there. Resentment is always there. But the way you bounce back is like, wow. That one shift is what you have to take. And everything will fall in place. So let go. It's okay to let go. It's okay to sink in. Give yourself time. Value your feelings, value your emotions, and respect yourself. Love yourself first. If we don't love ourselves, we cannot expect anyone else will.
So true. And I think, to be honest, I can keep on listening to you for the entire
Oh
day,
my God,
entire
that's
week,
amazing.
because
That's such a nice
you
gesture
are,
from
yes, because you are literally talking about the root causes of the relationship problems that happen.
you. And this is what I've experienced from the number of people who come to me when I go as a speaker. Someone will raise their hand and say, I don't know how to be myself. I don't know how to be happy.
Mm.
I mean,
Right.
Gargi ji, I feel there was someone who asked me, I don't know how to be happy. And it really broke my heart. Like
Mm.
now, we've become so matured. We are running behind
Mm.
achieving something. We've set goals. We want to accomplish those goals. And in that process, we've forgotten what life is actually. We've forgotten how to smile. When was the
Mm.
last time, Gargiji, you sat 5 minutes by yourself doing nothing at all?
Mm.
Or just looking at yourself in the mirror? Or just pampering yourself? Or, just rubbing your hand on your cheeks to say, you're the best. We don't do that.
Right.
It's very important to say
Mm.
yourself, Chanchal, I love you. It's very important. That's how self love begins. And it's okay to be a little selfish for yourself.
Mm. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. So I think if you're letting go of someone, you're actually choosing yourself over them, and that
100%.
is what I feel is actual real self love. Because आजकल social media के हिसाब से self love is something like luxurious things आप वहाँ पे जा रहे हो या फिर अपने outer personality पे काम कर रहे हो. That is a part of it, but I think true self love is all of these things that we are
From
talking
within.
about.
If you are not clean
Hmm.
from within, whatever you do will
Hmm.
never show on the outside.
Yes, amazing. So like I want to understand one more thing. Like if someone is watching this and if they are tired of abandoning themselves again and again, maybe उनके mind में ये चीज आ रही है कि okay, I get this, I understand it, but somewhere deep down maybe I've accepted that मेरी life में हमेशा ऐसे ही लोग आते हैं. हम patterns में घुस जाते हैं of attracting
Correct,
toxic
correct.
relationships. So, if somebody is tired of abandoning themselves, what would you say to them right now?
Wow. So there's this beautiful line, Gargiji, which I've heard and it stayed with me. And I think it will stay with me forever. We cannot add days to our lives, but we can definitely add life to the days we have. I think once we understand this, we can shape our life differently. And we should understand the power of this quote and the power of every word that it holds. Just enjoy your life to the fullest. We don't have anything with us. So, what is the fear of losing something? There's nothing in this world that belongs to us. So, what is the fear of losing something? This is why I want to tell everyone, just live the life the way you want. Don't keep on compromising. Don't keep on thinking about others. If you don't think for yourself, no one else will. It's okay to say no. It's okay to do what you like. Just be yourself and be happy. That's more important than anything else in this world.
Awesome. Love that line that we cannot add days to our life, but we can definitely add life to our days.
100.
Awesome. So, I just want to ask, like, if somebody wants to connect with you and they want to join you in any of the coaching programs that you are having or one-to-one coaching, what's the way forward?
So, Gargiji, I provide one-on-one clarity calls.
Mm.
So, I would
Okay.
love someone to come on a clarity call with me. I have a WhatsApp
Mm.
community which I'm running
Mm.
where there are more than 500 people.
Mm.
And I
Amazing.
have a page. You
Mm.
can DM me and I'll be there
Mm.
for you. I would
Mm.
love to take you on a call with me. I have my LinkedIn profile. You can connect with
Mm.
me everywhere. Anywhere
Mm.
you can connect with me, I'm everywhere. I'm all over
Mm.
the social media.
Hmm. Amazing, great. So, everyone, now what I want from all of you is first make sure that you follow through all the links in the description, join
Yes,
her WhatsApp group, follow her on Instagram, follow her on all the social media handles which I will be giving. Because trust me, I've never had anyone on my show who has talked this much depth about relationships, and I'm very much fascinated about the topic of relationship, and that's why when you said that that we can do this together, it was like something that
thank God.
yes, something
Yes,
ignited within
totally.
me.
It's a pleasure to be
Hmm.
on your show. Thank you
Yes,
so much for inviting me. And Gargi,
awesome.
I would
Hmm.
love to tell you what you are doing at this age is
Hmm.
phenomenal.
Thank you.
At
Hmm.
19, you really achieved a lot in your life and You're really inspiring a lot of young people.
Thank you so much,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes,
Like when
so
I told a lot of
hmm,
people I have a podcast with Gargi,
hmm,
there was no
hmm.
one who asked me who's Gargi.
Okay. Amazing. That's such an honor feeling for me. Thank you so much.
Really, hats off
Hmm.
to you and very well done. Kudos.
Awesome. So everyone just make sure that you follow along through all the links in the description. Follow her on the social media channel. Trust me, what she shared right now, I'm sure this is not even a teaser of the kind of movie she's
Totally,
creating in the
totally. This is
entire
not even
world.
a trailer. The
Yes.
picture is yet there.
Uh, awesome. The second is make sure that you also tell us your key takeaways from the podcast in the
Yes.
comments below so that we can understand what you have, got as a golden nugget. And the only request I always say on my show as a host is if you watch the entire podcast, but if you don't take action on anything that the guest has said, it's not going to make any sense because trust me, action is what is going to actually help you to change your life for the better. Thank you so much, Chanchal ma'am, for being on the
Thank you so
show.
much,
It was
Gargi.
such an
It's an
honor.
honor to be here. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.